Hello guys, this is Emmanuel here, and I'm a little bit excited to start this bootcamp on basics of Python. And this is going to be a 7 days long bootcamp, and you guys gonna travel with me for next 6 days, including this gonna be 7 days. And this is edspread platform, guys, and here we post a bootcamp on various tech stack every week, so that you'll be getting some knowledge on what is going on around in the industry world. And terms and conditions here, guys, like to get us some completion certificates right now for this bootcamp. As I said before, this is a 7 days long bootcamp, and at the end of the day, you're gonna have a project, and once on completing, you'll be getting the certificate on condition. Like we'll be posting an attendance form at the end of each session, each bootcamp. All you need to do is like fill in the forms to get completion certificate along with the project that you are gonna complete at the day 7. Okay, so let's jump into the bootcamp. So this is gonna be our agenda for our bootcamp. So right from starting, how to install, how to get the Python into your machine, and what is Python in at the very beginning. Like, it's more important to know what Python is, and we are gonna write our first Python program along the road, and then we're gonna discuss what are the different data types in Python, and also what are the operators in Python with some live coding sessions. Like, we'll be coding along and then see how the different operators works. And at last, like, we'll be having rather than giving some static variables and getting some operations done on it, we'll also learn how the input function is gonna work, how we're gonna have a dynamic inputs to be entered by the user, which in turn can be used for various operations. So at last, we'll be having a type conversions, where we'll be looking at how data type is initialized for a variable, and how we can change the type which has been initialized automatically by Python. So let's jump into the bootcamp. So guys, we're gonna install, first of all, we're gonna install Python from python.org, and then we go what the editor we're gonna use is like VS Code, and let me show you how we can download both the files. So first of all, get into the Google Chrome and just type python.org. Let me type again, python.org. If you data to this page, all you need to do is like click on downloads and then click the Python version. At the time of recording, this is the version right now we have, and it might be waiting, so no problem. So it's taking some time. Let's wait for it. So for installation, just click on the exe file which has been downloaded. Check all the boxes and then click to install now. So right now I'm having a Python in my machine, guys, so I'm just not going to install right now. So I'm just closing it. And for editor, same, it depends on what OS you are having. It might be Mac, it can be a Linux system, it can be a Windows system. Right now I'm having a Windows, so whatever, maybe like depends on the bit, like it's a 64-bit or 32-bit. My system is 64-bit. I'm just gonna click on it, so it can be downloaded. So it's gonna take a little time. So it's downloading. Yeah, we got the VS Code installer right now, and the same procedure. Click on the exe file, accept the agreement, click next. Make sure you check all the boxes, and then click next again. And all you need to do is like click install. Okay, so right now I'm having the VS Code been installed in my system, so I'm just gonna have a look at it. This is how you use the VS Code right now. So guys, like before even starting coding, it's better to know whether the Python is is been embedded with the VS Code, right? So all you need to do is like click on the extension and then type in Python. So click on the first one. It says like, okay, it's already been installed, so that's the reason we are having the options disabled and uninstalled. So it's great, like we have a Python as an interpreter. So let's jump into how to create a new file. So file, new, and this is how you'll be creating a new file in VS Code, and this is how we install Python in our systems. So let's jump back to our PPT. So guys, first step of installing a Python in VS Code is done. I hope you don't have any kind of problem with this one. If you guys have any doubts at any time, you can just comment in so that we'll be replying to that. We'll also have a live chat right now, so don't worry, guys. So next, like knowing what is Python, right? So Python is nothing but a high-level programming languages. So it is kind of easy for programmers to write a code, which is both logical. But like it's been used wide, like in industries and research sites. So it's basically an object-oriented approach. So those who are having learning Java is also, you know, like object-oriented programming, like encapsulation, inheritance, etc. So it can be used polymorphism. All the things what we are doing in a Java can also be done in Python. If you're not a coder, it's not a problem at all. Like in this bootcamp, we'll be learning some basics of Python. So don't worry, guys. So this is what a Python is meant to be. It's basically a high level language, and it's kind of easy to learn. It's like a we will be learning. You'll be knowing how simple it is as the days pass. So we're gonna write our first Python program. So first of all, save the file in a directory like first code, and don't forget to mention the extension .py, or else you'll be having a text file. So ready to go, like print welcome to Python Bootcamp. And here, guys, you could see a small play button right down here. That's the button we are using to execute the code. Here you could see, guys, a Python file is being created along with the extension. So let's write our first program. So it's a print statement. So guys, welcome to Python Bootcamp. So once the statement is done, just click on the play button right here, and you could see welcome to Python Bootcamp is being executed. So it's like we can also write here like welcome to edspread community. Then just click, and you could see how things changes. So it's nothing but whatever statement string that has been present within a print statement, it's gonna be executed. So this is how a print statement works. So congratulations, guys, you just now know how to create a Python file, how to execute a Python file, and how to view the output term in the terminal itself in a VS Code. So let's jump back to the PPTs. So next are the data types in Python. So as you guys, some of the programmers know, there are many data types like int, float, string, and list can be mapped to arrays, and you also have some dictionaries, tuples, and set. And in this session, we are gonna look at each and every single operators with some examples, right? So let's jump back to the VS Code. So we are gonna initialize a variable x is equal to 4, and this is obviously an type of int. So we're gonna check like if the type is a keyword, that it helps to know what is the data type of the variable, right? So we are using print statement to know the type of the variable that can be explicitly given as an output, right? So we're gonna see like this is the class of int. So on adding a decimal point, so now we are done with the int. We know like how a int is, like it's nothing but a whole number. So on adding a decimal point like 4.5, the same statement, I haven't even changed any other word. I'm just gonna have a decimal point in it, and I'm just gonna have a number in it. So that's nothing but the float, right? Guys, I guess you got it. And then now we're gonna look how a string is, and the Python is so intelligent, like it doesn't need to initialize a variable like integer x is an integer, or x is a string, or x is a float. It implicitly knows like this is the data type of the variable. So I'm just gonna change the variable to edspread, and I'm just gonna execute it. Here you could see it's a string, right? So guys, now you know how a string is like how to initialize a string, how to initialize an int, how to initialize a float. Now getting back to an important topic, list. Okay, just a minute. So list is nothing but it's initialized first of all with a square brackets. So it can have a string, numbers, or a float, etc. So on printing, first of all, a type, we can check it, right? On printing the type, you could see it's a list, and once you guys know like the list, we have an opportunity of traversing through the list by having the position, like we know arrays, and don't worry guys, like though if you guys are not from Python or a programming background, so it's nothing but x is equal to, let me comment this one. So x is equal to, let's have this as a position 0, this as position 1, and this as position 2. So it's all about traversing through the list and knowing the exact variable or a value that is present at the placeholders. For example, I'm just gonna print x of 0. You guys know it's gonna be edspread. So let me clear this one. So clear it, for clearing terminal, use a keyword clear so that it will be cleared. So here we have edspread. On traversing to number 1, it's gonna be number 1. On traversing to number 2, it's gonna be 4.5. I guess you guys can get the point. And in case I'm quite interested to add a value, okay? So I'm interested to add a value of 7. So what I do is, like, first of all, initializing a variable, it shall be y is equal to 7, and all I'm gonna do is like x dot, using a keyword called append, and appending the value in it, and I'm just gonna print it. So I'm just gonna print x. So here we have initialized a list and then executed the print x to know what is values before appending a value, and then having a value initialized to a variable which is going to be added to the same list. And this print statement is going to execute the list which has been updated, which has been appended. So here we go. Yeah, this is our initial list before appending. This is our like the end of updation. We have the 7 added to our list. So this is how you append a value, and it's more important to know how you also pop a value, so which is mean deleting a position, right? So here we have a keyword called, so let's do this one, keyword called pop. So in pop, it's again depends on the placeholders or the position of the variables. It's going to be 0 or 1 or 2. For now, I'm just going to pop the variable at 1. So this statement, this statement, this print executes the list values before even removing the values in place number 1, and this is a statement that removes the value that is present at position number 1, and this is the print statement that's gonna execute it, and we'll be having an updated list where a value at position 1 is popped. Okay, so I hope I'm clear. And here we go. This is the list we have, and this is 0, this is 1, and this is 2, as I have mentioned here. And here you could see like the 1 is being popped, right? So this is how a list works. This is how a major function called append and pop works. And in order to traverse, as I said before, you can use the placeholders or positions of the values to know what exact value is present at that specific position. Guys, I hope I'm clear. Let's move on to the next topic. So next one is dictionaries. Okay, dictionary is one of the cool topics. Like, we have keys and then values going on with that. So let's have x is equal to, let's say, key as 1, and then we have welcome to edspread, and then key as 2, which is gonna have a value welcome to Python basics. Let's have yet another value called 3, welcome to bootcamp. So this is how you initialize a dictionary, where you'll be having a flower brackets right from like from start of the dictionary to the end of the dictionary. The block is it's a flower brackets, and this is how key and values are segregated using a colon. And guys, like this is how you separate each keys and value pairs, key and value pairs. Okay, so in order to print, it's nothing but first of all we check what the type is, right? So we all know like type is a keyword which is used to find what the data type is, and print is the statement that helps to display in the terminal. So let me clear this one for you guys for clear understanding, more clear understanding. So I'm just playing it. So we have this as a dictionary. So let me print what's in X. Okay, we got the dictionary, right? So how about, okay, I'm not interested in all the statements, so I'm just interested in edspread. Okay, so in that sense, all you need to do is to print the keyword, like we have 1, 2 and 3. In case you want to have a statement of value or welcome to edspread, all you need to pass is the 1 attribute within a square bracket. So let me execute it for you. So we're gonna have welcome to edspread, right? So in case okay, so how about 2? So it's gonna say welcome to Python basics. So this is how. And in case guys, like if you want to have an yet another file like x of, just a minute, x of 4, this is how you initialize a new key and value pair. So it's not necessarily like all the keys values should have a string. So let me have a 7 here. So I'm initializing a dictionary with a key of 4 having a value 7. So let me print our x. Let me comment it here so that we don't want this one, we don't want this one. Okay, it's fine. So here you could see a new value of 7 is been assigned to the key 4. Guys, now we have learned how to append a new key value pairs to our dictionary. So let us move on to how to pop an element, like how to delete a key and a value from a dictionary. So let me clear this quick really soon right now. And here we have x is equal to 3, x is equal to, x is equal to 1. All you need to do is like x dot pop of the key. It's not about the position, guys. So here it's all about the key. So I'm just going to delete the keys and values where the key is going to be 3, right? So on printing the x, here we need to have an this is just for your better understanding. So this is gonna print our dictionary as it is before popping, and this statement is gonna pop a key which has a value 3, like it's gonna pop the value of the key that has a 3 in it, and this is gonna be our updated print statement. Okay, so let me execute this statement right now. So you can see this is our statement before popping, and this is our statement after popping. Here you could see, you can't see like you can't have the value 3 right now as we have popped it, right? So this is some of the operations that can be done with dictionaries. So let's move on to our next type, which is tuple. Let's now look at another data type called tuple. So this is how we initialize it: a variable name and then a parenthesis and values in it, like it's 1, 4.5, and then we have edspread, a string. So let's first check the type of the variable. It's gonna be a tuple. Yeah, yes it is. And one key important thing about a tuple, it's like immutable. So immutable is nothing big terminologies. Like let's say I'm just gonna reassign a value of 0 where x of 0 is actually 1. I'm just trying to change x of 0 to 7. Okay, it's gonna tell does not support item assignment. So the reason is it's immutable. You can't, once a tuple has been initialized, you can't tamper the values or you can't modify the values. So it's still possible to traverse through the values, like let's say print of 0, x of 0, it's gonna print 1. Yep, it is. And how about 2? it's gonna print edspread. So this is how a tuples works, guys. So you might ask, how about a reassignment or a immutability of a list? So let me show that to you. So this is the list, we all know it. Let's check it, the type of it. Yeah, it is list. And let's do the same thing. Like now I'm gonna assign the value x of 0 as 7, and I'm just gonna print x. Let us print x here too, so that we'll be having some better understanding of it. So here you can see the list is mutable. This is one of the key difference between a tuple and list. If you are in list, you can modify the values of any positions given, like a position and the value. This is how the item is being assigned, reassigned to a value. So this is one of the key difference that you should notice, like, because based on your requirement you have in your project, whether it must be immutable or not, it is more important to know about these basic types like list and tuple, so you can use that right on an app scenario, right? So let's move on to our next and now let's see about yet another data type called set. Guys, with sets being completed, and we have covered all the data types with some basic functions in it, like adding or appending or popping, or how to mutate, or how we can't immutate in many scenarios. And let's move on to our next topic called operators. Like, operators is kind of similar to you. We have done many mathematical things in our school days, like arithmetic operators, relational operators. Some things are new, like membership operators, identity operators, and I promise you guys, you will be knowing everything, like with some basic simple examples. We'll be explaining all the each and every operators. Okay, so let's move on to the arithmetic operators. As you know, it's all about addition, subtraction, multiplication, divisions. We have also exponential operators to know the to find the value of base and power of a power variable, and then we have a exponent. We have a modulus symbol to know what the remainder of a division is. We also have a floor division. Don't worry, guys, we'll be looking a simple example in our code scenario. Okay, so let's initialize a value a is equal to 5 and b is equal to 2, and let me print a plus b, and obviously you all know what the answer is. Of course it is 7. And let's have a minus b, which is 3. And how about multiplication? We have 10. And how about division? We have 2.5. And guys, like, when sometimes we might not be interested in knowing the decimal point of the division. In that case, in that scenarios, in that requirement, we'll be adding another slash. And on printing this, you could see, like, this is how a integer division or a floor division works. It always removes the decimal point and just has the whole number. So this is how a floor division works. And in case I'm quite not interested in the quotient, whereas I'm quite interested in the remainder, so I'll be going on with the modulus. So this is how the modulus works, and this is how the remainder is. This is what the remainder is. And in case I'm in a scenario, I need to find the 5 power 2, right? So all you need to do, it's like put a 2 asterisk between the variables, so that I'll be having 25. I hope I'm quite clear with the arithmetic operators. So I'm just moving on with our logical operators. So you know how it have less than or greater than or less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to, or double equal to, or not equal to, and we'll be discussing about it. So let's take a is less than b, and always, guys, like, the result is kind of a boolean. It says whether the condition is true or false. So in this case, you all know, like, a less than b, of course it is not, right? So let me clear this for our next session on relational operators. So this is how it works. Of course it is false. And how about less than or equal to? Of course it is false. Let's talk about greater than. Yes, it is true. 5 is always greater than 2. Greater than or equal to? Of course it is true. And How about not equal to? Of course it is not, because 5 is not equal to 2, right? It is true. And in case we have equal to sign, it means like to compare both the variables are same. We all know it is not, hence it is false. I hope with with this basic example, you all guys have know how the logical operators works, how the output is gonna be, and this is how you can use that in our day-to-day life of programming, right? Guys, let's move on to the yet another operator, like assignment operators and logical operators, and we'll be explaining how things works and with some basic examples. So let's move on to our coding session. So let's have a is equal to 10, and let's assign yet another variable b is equal to 10 for your basic understanding, right? So let me have a is equal to a plus 10, and without replicating the variable a, we can also have b plus equal to 10. And you guys know like these both the values are same, like both the values of the variables are same, so both the variables will be having the same value. So from this you can know like this is equivalent to this. Okay, let me execute it without further ado. Yeah, it is 20 and 20. So let me have a minus sign here, and let me have minus sign here. Okay, so let's have this value as 15 and this value also 15. Now both the values are gonna have 5, which means b minus 10 minus b minus 10 is 5, and it's again assigned to the b. So let's have a multiplicator symbol right here right now. Yep, it's 150, and this is how, and so on it works. Like how about an exponential? Yep, and we also have a division, modulus symbol, and floor division. Let's try floor division. Floor division here and floor division here. Yep, we have a 1. I hope guys like this is kind of making sense. So let's move on to logical operators. So logical operators are nothing but we all know the logical gates like and, or, not. The not in case it's like just an vice versa of the value. If, for example, if the boolean is false, it's gonna be true. If the boolean is true, it's gonna be false. And in case we have and in both the values or both variables must be true to have a true value, or else any one of the case is false. With regards to x or y, the value is going to be false. With regards to or, either one shall be true to end up the result as true, right? So let's have a scenario. So don't worry guys if you can't come along with us. So let's say a is equal to true and b is equal to false. Okay, now let's print a or b. So from our PPT we know like any one of the variable, if it is true, it is more than enough to have a true in it, right? So let me clear this session for you, and of course it is true. And in case both the things are false, right, it's gonna be false. And in case of and, if any one of the true, it is not at all necessary to for a statement to be true, hence it is false. And in case both the things are false or true, it's gonna be true. And in case of not gate, not a, right? So here a is true, not of a is gonna be false. Here it is false. Let's have b as false, and here not of b, right? So it's true. So this is how the logical gates works, and you guys you can experiment along with this. This is very important concept, guys. Like you can reduce a lot much of coding by understanding these gates. Lot much of number of lines that you will be using to analyze the condition or analyze the rule, etc. So I guess you are clear with this. So let's move on to our next operator. Yeah, which is membership operator. So consider we have a list of 10 characters and you just want to know whether a single or 10 values, and you just want to know whether a value is present in it or not. And it is not needed to just move on with that and then check okay whether values it by checking through each and every iterations, right? So here let's have a list of 1579 and let's b be the value 7. Okay, I'm just gonna check whether b in a. So it's gonna say true if the value is present in that specific list, right? Just a minute. So let me clear this session for you. Of course it is true because the 7 is present in the list. So how about trying a 3 which is not present in that? Yep, false. As we all know, like not gate, we are just discussed earlier, putting a just not in front of in will just consider it's a vice versa scenario. Like we are asking whether 3 is not in A. Of course it is not in A, right? So it is gonna print true. And how about a value 9? It's not in A. Of course it is in A, so it will be telling false. So this is how, guys, you will be checking a value whether a value is present in a list or a tuple or a set. Or I'm not set, like I'm just saying. So we gonna look at identity operator, which is or is not. So it will be telling whether both the values are same or not. Let's say like both the values are, let's have 7 and 9. Let's have like is A. Of course it is false because 7 is not equal to 9. And let's have both one as 7. Let's try the same. Of course it is true because both the values are 7. And as I said before, is not will check whether both the values are not same. Of course it is same, so it will be telling false. And on having a different value on it, it is true because 9 is not 7. I hope this operator is clear. And so far we are just frustrated with just changing the values as and when before. Like consider the before scenario, we are just changing the value of x is equal to 7 and 9, and this is how you get a dynamic input from a user, right? So let me teach you how to get an input. So let's have a variable age is equal to input of enter your age and print age. So by this way we are getting a value from a user and we are just printing what the value the user has given. Okay, so let me run it. So the age is, let's say, 21. So we are having 21. So in case I'm just gonna have let me run it again. So let me have like my age is some kind of string like Python. Still the value is gonna print, like because we are just having input in it. In case you wanna restrict it, all you need to do, it's like you are mentioning it like irrespective of the values. If it is int, then have that value in the variable age, right? So now I'm trying it again, 21. Of course it works. And now I'm trying in Python. It says an error, invalid literal int. So this is how like implicitly before we are initializing value of int, this is how the Python knows, but when we are explicitly mentioning the variable type, this is how things works, right? I hope I'm clear with this topic. If you have any doubts, guys, don't forget to comment in it. We will be always happy to address your issues or address your doubts. Okay, let's move on to the next topic, which is type conversion. I'm always talking about the implicit type and an explicit type, and we just encountered one such scenario, right? Like having the age, which is an implicit before, we just converted that to an explicit. Let's understand better, like with some examples. There are scenarios like the data types will be changing as it is on having an operator. It is nothing but like, let's say like we have 5.4, and individually we have print type of A, it would be int, as you guys know. So let's have a print type of B, it would be float. And in case print, we have an operation going on like A plus B, it's an arithmetic operators. Whenever an int is added with a float, you guys know, like there is going to be a float point, there is going to be a decimal point that is going to be added to the value. So obviously the value is converted to float. Here we have never explicitly mentioned what the value to be, so hence, for your better understanding, let me clear, let me explain it. So here you can say the A is int and the B is float, and the A plus B becomes float. So this is how Python implicitly converts its value. So let's say like, hey, like I just don't want Python to decide what my value is. I just want it to be an integer, irrespective of the variables that constitute its total, right? Okay, let's assign C and yet another variable. Let me explicitly mention the integer value, and let's have like A plus B. And now in place of A plus B, let's have the variable C, and let us print all the variables along with this. So let's have A comma, and let's have B comma, and let's have C comma. So to have a better understanding how what value constitutes what. So this is what it happens, like when we are explicitly having a value, even though we had a float with an int, we end up with an int, right? So in case I'm not having this int value, right, this is how things works. It's 4, it's 5.4, and on adding it, we have a decimal point in a value, and it's going to be a float. So this is some of the use cases where in case your requirement is all about having a whole number, you need to be cautious of the data types. So this is how you typecast, like whether irrespective of implicit, we can explicitly convert a float to an int. So this is how things works. I hope I'm clear. I made my point. So this is how then explicit conditions works. And guys, I hope our day gone well, and I'm very much excited to continue the journey with you guys for next 5 days. And don't forget to address fill in the attendance form at the end of this session, and subscribe for our channel, and then click on the bell notification to know about the upcoming boot camps. And thank you guys.